Hello, love. Welcome to the Sacred Purpose Podcast, a place where we illuminate your innate wisdom and help you embody your soul's calling. I'm your host, Lisa Malia, midwife, breast cancer survivor, and mama of three, turned nonprofit CEO and embodiment coach. We're each on a unique path to live our sacred purpose, but we don't need to walk it alone. Through the power of connection, feminine wisdom, and embodied leadership, we can elevate our lives, communities, and businesses. Each week, I'll bring you transformative stories, practices, and rituals to support you in trusting and following your intuition, creating space to live a life of sacred purpose with deeper clarity and unapologetic joy. As we reimagine and envision a new way forward. Are you ready? Let's dive in. I'm unveiling the feminine framework today on the podcast. Today, I want to share with you all my best methodologies, my resources, my tools, and my rituals and practices that support me as a feminine leader. The reason I'm doing this today is because I want to share with you what I've been working on, what I've learned over my years and years as a feminine leadership coach and a supporter of women through massive transformational changes and transitions through their life. And what I've learned is that when we compartmentalize our energy, it is doing us a disservice. And the more we can show up as our whole and complete selves in every area of our life, in our homes, in our communities, in our relationships, in our beliefs, in our values, the better off we are. And so all of these systems, all of these practices, all of these methodologies that I'm going to share with you today, I apply to myself in every area of my life so that I can be whole, but also show up whole in every area so that I am more resourced than ever and really using my energy in the best way possible. And to be able to apply this to the work that I do, to be able to apply this to my business, to my projects, to my communities, to my clients, this is the way we are able to really capitalize on what it means to be a feminine leader when we can be contributing that life force energy that naturally wants to flow through us, when we don't put a cap on it and when we really allow it to flow, when we're not trying to stifle ourselves to fit into certain situations or trying to meet certain expectations or just trying to, make not stand out so much, right? Sometimes we do that like, oh, this isn't the place for that, right? And sometimes that's true. But for the most part, we are more often self-silencing ourselves or not giving ourselves really the space and time to present or show up in the way that we really want to. And that actually is a pull and a drain on your energy. I'm actually going to address that in my next energy upgrade episode. So tune into that one because we're going to dive deeper on that. But today I'm going to stick to the feminine framework and share more details with you about that. This is all my signature methodologies that I have spent years experimenting on, sampling, trying, working myself through all this information, all these practices, all these rituals, everything, and brought it together in as few and as simple and clear systems and elements for you to really start to integrate into your life and into the work that you do and into the way that you show up in the world. So you are feeling like your most embodied, powerful, confident self, even when things are uncertain, when things are unknown. You know that you've got yourself and these systems have got you when you don't feel like you've got yourself. And beyond that, that there's a community of women that are holding you and holding that vision with you when you also are in those periods of uncertainty and you need somebody to reflect that brilliance back to you. Because we all need that sometimes. None of us are alone in this and none of us can do this alone. So please, please, please remember that. I also want you to know that I am hosting a feminine leadership masterclass. It is completely free. It is 5 days. also going to have loads of bonus sessions. So put it on your calendar. We begin June 17th. There's going to be a link to it in the show notes. And like I said, it's completely free. I'm going to bring in some guest speakers, some guest mentors, former clients, to share their zone of genius with you, to also be a pillar and a support and a resource for you. So it's really everything that I believe in as far as showing up in collaboration with other women, not to just buoy each other up, but also to be in it with each other, to support each other and work together in this way. So I'm super thrilled to be able to present it to you. I hope to see you there. Go sign up, that link in the show notes, hit pause, go do that and come back, tune back in. And here's what we're going to dive into. The feminine framework. So you've heard me talk a lot about your feminine leadership archetype. I'm not going to go into that too much here because there's other workshops on that, and there are certainly going to be many episodes on that subject alone. But really, that's about owning your gifts and answering the calling of your vision. And when you can do that, and then you start to see what they are and you start to explore what they are, because they're not probably something that you've been using a lot, right? I mean, we mostly silence ourselves growing up in traditional society and don't really know how to tap into those intuitive gifts. We're never taught this in school, right? This is touching on your purpose, really that mission of your soul, what you came to this earth in this lifetime to do, and how that's going to express through you in your everyday life. And so that you're not having to sort of compartmentalize your spiritual from your physical, from your strategy, from all these other parts of you, really alchemizing all these parts of you together. And so we're going to start with the three key elements of feminine leadership. It's that sacred purpose, right? Harnessing that energy and that calling on your heart and your soul, and creating aligned impact. That's where we get very clear, bring in the strategy that's aligned with that soul mission, your sacred purpose. And we have some systems that help us measure not just success in the traditional way, but really measure the impact and the experiences that you're having so that it's feeling good. It's feeling satisfying. It's feeling fulfilling, not just for you, but for the people that are involved, for the people that are around you and involved in the work that you do and the impact that you're having. So this is more than just going goal after goal after goal after goal, right? This is the holistic view of what aligned impact looks like. And then we go into life as ritual. And that is the piece that I was touching on before, where when we feel like we are faltering or like we're uncertain or we're not quite sure what's next or what we're doing or not feeling very confident, we have these rituals and these tools that support us in these practices there where we know that we can do some really simple things. Sometimes we need to bring it down to a very, very basic level and get very clear on what are the practices that support us. Sometimes they're very tangible, just very physical, very somatic, like get some good sleep, hydrate, pray, meditate, and do those practices that are, are going to support you. And when you feel like you have space for it, you may recognize that almost everything in life becomes a ritual. Everything is a sacred ritual that you do. You really want to embody and embrace and honor these moments, these big milestones that you're having, the good and the bad, the grief and the joy, and really allowing yourself to hold that full spectrum, that full realm of possibility within you, so that even when you're feeling really wonderful and something really hard might be happening, you're able to alchemize that so that you don't have to even silence either part of you. You can honor both things that are happening and still be able to move forward or take time to rest if that's what you really need to do. Allowing space for that, right? Guilt-free in all the ways. This is the that unapologetic joy piece that I speak to, that we really are meant to experience joy. We really are meant to be hopeful. We really are meant to believe and trust and have faith and grow and develop as beings on this planet and in this lifetime. So even when things feel discouraging or hopeless, like how can we still support ourselves? Because that's not who we are. And these rituals, this life as ritual, is going to help us lean into that energy of possibility so that we know how to show up in all these different types of circumstances. Then we're going to go into that piece about cultivating limitless possibility that I just touched on, how there are our daily practices and rituals, excuse me, can support us in holding the realm of possibility. But then how do we really lean into that and cultivate limitless possibility? Because we are limitless beings. The universe is limitless. And how do we call upon that energy and be open to all that possibility so that our vision that we're holding, that we're not holding on to it so fast that it must be a certain way, that we have the goal that we have the vision that we have, but then we're also open to something more. Let the universe also inform what's meant to happen and what's meant to unfold and the way it's meant to unfold so that you can receive the magic and the connections and the things that pop up so that you are not closed off to the opportunities that are presenting themselves to you and the opportunities that you might be able to offer to somebody else. And so that realm and that energy of possibility is moving to you, it's moving through you in a really resourceful and abundant way. And so we're going to go over into what it is to be a really well-resourced woman, financially, physically, spiritually, relationally. We have 6 different areas we're going to touch on. We're going to go dive deep into all of them. And this is how you cultivate limitless possibility, creating those resources around you, learning how to discover them, tap into them, what are yours, and having just an absolutely different shift in perspective on what abundance is instead of all of us holding it all. And I did a whole episode on this if you want to go back and listen to it. It's the law of abundance and feminine leadership. And I dive into more of that topic there. But that is how we can really tap into abundance and cultivate limitless possibility and open up ourselves to those opportunities and also gift those opportunities. And then regenerative business practices. This goes back to that aligned impact that I was talking about as an individual when you're having, mission-driven, purpose-driven work, heart work, soul work that you're doing, or the way you show up to lead different projects, or you show up in your community, your family, building in regenerative practices so that the way that you're living your life is regenerative and life-giving. And the way that you're impacting is also regenerative and life-giving. And also, when you have a business or a foundation that you run, even these systems that I talk about in regenerative business practices can be utilized in almost everything or almost every project that you are handling, personal or professional, as a way to look at the cycle of regeneration when it's a project, when you reimagine something, when you ignite it, when you move through it, when you assess it. It's a very feminine regenerative business practice tool. It is my formula. It is following what we know about Mother Nature, what we know about feminine energy, and bringing it to the business, how we produce as women, how we produce as feminine beings, how we use that energy to measure our success and our impact and our experiences, how we heal, repair, and restore that energy whenever there's been any type of misalignment or harm done. How do we address that? How do we then reimagine, reassess, reconfigure, and reignite that purpose and that mission to keep it moving forward, but not missing out on any of those steps because they are all so important. You cannot have fruit in the fall if you didn't have springtime, energy and blossoms getting pollinated by the bees, right? And you can't have spring without winter and dormant rest energy. So all of those things get to be incorporated in the way that we look at the way we run our projects and our businesses. And I'm going to dive even deeper into that. So I know I just touched on it a little bit here, but I wanted to give you a full overview of the feminine framework and unveil it for you here today so that you could see all the pieces and all the components and start alchemizing them and start to visualize how some of these energies and these systems and these methodologies start to really alchemize, play together, work together, and transform the way that you're leading and doing in the world. I hope this was exciting. I hope this was informative. I hope this helps you tap into that vision just a little bit more, opens you up to more possibility, getting more curious about what it is to really embrace your feminine leadership and feminine energy in a way that still produces really incredible outcomes, ones greater than you ever even imagined possible, because they are life-giving, they are regenerative, and they are filled with limitless possibility. Go ahead and sign up for that masterclass. Like I said, we're going to dive deeper into all of these things, and I would really, really love to see you there. Beyond the Feminine Leadership Masterclass, I want to let you know about the Abundant Leaders Mastermind. Applications are now open for early enrollment. Once you fill out the application, we'll set up a call to really give you more information about what this Abundant Leaders Mastermind looks like and whether or not it's the best step for you to take next. This is going to be a really beautiful, intimate group of 12 women gathering who have big visions for the way that they want to show up in the world, with influence and impact and resources to create this life that they were born for. We are women who are soul purpose driven, multifaceted, have many gifts to bring to the table. I've got resource pillars within the group. I'm not leading this alone. I'm holding the space with other incredible leaders to provide resources to you. We're going to have 2 live retreats and lots of incredible guest speakers. But more importantly, we're going to really help you hold and build that vision in a way that you can show up as your whole self behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. This is a place to come home to again and again, to do the inner work, to start to really alchemize these principles and create that impact in the experiences that you want to have in the world, in the business that you're running or the projects that you're managing, and really let all of us hold that vision with you. These are going to be really powerful connections and a really incredible way for you to show up and do the work that you want to do, but also be really supported. This is where we bridge the gap from the spiritual to the strategy, where we get to be all of ourselves, our spiritual, beautiful, soulful, magical beings that show up and transform and embody all of that magic and all that medicine into this lifetime and use it to express our gifts in the way that we do what we do. So if that calls to you, go ahead, fill out that application. We'll talk. I'll tell you more. I can't wait to share it with you. We officially will be kicking off in July, but now's a great time to start that conversation if you're curious and get you all set up and dialed in and moving forward.